Did you know that a single man, driven by visions and a thirst for freedom, ignited a rebellion that shook the foundations of American slavery? This is the story of Nat Turner. Born into bondage on October 2, 1800, in Southampton County, Virginia, Nat Turner's life was predetermined by the brutal realities of slavery. His mother, Nancy, instilled in him a fierce sense of pride and resistance, whispering stories of their African ancestry and the injustice of their captivity. From a young age, Nat displayed an extraordinary intellect. Taught to read by his enslaver's daughter, he devoured the Bible, interpreting its passages with a fervor that bordered on prophetic. Even as a child of 3, he spoke of visions, portents that would later shape his destiny. These visions, coupled with his deep understanding of Scripture, convinced him that he was chosen by God for a special purpose. Turner grew into a charismatic and influential figure within the enslaved community. He preached with fiery conviction, offering solace and hope to those burdened by oppression. But beneath his spiritual leadership simmers a growing resentment, fueled by the daily indignities and dehumanization of slave life. The year 1831 proved to be a turning point. A solar eclipse in February, followed by unusual atmospheric phenomena, convinced Turner that the time for action had arrived. He interpreted these events as divine signals, commanding him to unleash God's wrath upon the oppressors. On the night of August 21, 1831, Nat Turner, along with 6 trusted followers, launched their rebellion. Armed with axes and a burning desire for freedom, they struck first at the home of Joseph Travers, Turner's enslaver. Every member of the Travers family was killed. This was the spark that ignited the tinderbox of resentment. The rebellion quickly spread, attracting more and more enslaved people to its ranks. Armed with whatever weapons they could find, the rebels moved from plantation to plantation, liberating slaves and executing those who stood in their way. The uprising raged for 48 hours, leaving a trail of death and destruction in its wake. By the time it was suppressed, nearly 60 white people lay dead. The rebellion instilled terror into the hearts of white Southerners, and sparked panic throughout the nation. The response was swift and brutal. State militia and federal troops poured into Southampton County, determined to crush the rebellion and exact revenge. Hundreds of innocent black people were killed in the aftermath, many of whom had no connection to the uprising. Nat Turner, however, managed to evade capture for more than 2 months, hiding in the woods and swamps of Southampton County. He survived on dew and berries, fasting and praying for guidance. On October 30, 1831, he was finally apprehended by a local farmer. While in jail, Turner dictated his confessions to a lawyer named Thomas A. Gray. These confessions, published shortly after his execution, provide a glimpse into Turner's mind, revealing his motivations and his unwavering belief in his divine mission. On November 5, 1831, Nat Turner was tried and convicted of insurrection. He was sentenced to death by hanging. On November 11, 1831, Nat Turner was executed. His body was then skinned and dissected, a grotesque display of white power and a chilling warning against future rebellions. The impact of Nat Turner's rebellion was profound and far-reaching. In the immediate aftermath, it led to even harsher slave codes, restricting the movement, education, and religious practices of enslaved people. Fear gripped the South, leading to increased violence and oppression. However, the rebellion also served as a catalyst for the abolitionist movement. Northern publications, like William Lloyd Garrison's The Liberator, hailed Turner as a hero, inspiring others to fight against slavery. Nat Turner's legacy remains complex and controversial. Some view him as a freedom fighter, a courageous leader who dared to challenge the institution of slavery. Others see him as a murderous fanatic, responsible for the deaths of innocent people. Regardless of one's perspective, there is no denying the significance of Nat Turner's rebellion in shaping American history. It exposed the deep-seated tensions and contradictions of a nation built on the principles of freedom and equality, yet sustained by the brutal reality of slavery. The echoes of Nat Turner's rebellion can still be felt today, reminding us of the enduring struggle for racial justice and the price of freedom. His story continues to inspire and challenge us to confront the legacy of slavery and its lasting impact on American society.